Hi and welcome. My name's Meredith and I am the Sea Witch. Today I'd like to share something special with you, and that's an oracle deck that my husband and I actually created, and it was accepted for publication earlier this year by US Game Systems. They are the biggest, if not one of the biggest, I'm pretty sure, publishers of tarot and oracle decks, so that's exciting. In theory, it should be out by the end of next year, but we'll see. It does take them a while to do these things. And the deck is called Mystic Waters, an Oracle of the Divine Feminine. That's the name at the moment. I may or may not try to change that. Originally, the name I wanted was the Oracle of Water, which was the idea that I had, the name that I came up with when I conceived of this deck several years ago. But turns out someone else has a deck that is called the Oracle of Water that I think is just being crowdfunded. I'm not sure it's even published yet. But anyway, couldn't call it what I wanted to right now. It's Mystic Waters. Now, obviously, publication is a ways off, and so there's no official deck yet, but I do have a little proof that I got printed just for myself to use. Obviously, it's going to look a lot different than this. The backs are going to be completely different. The cards are going to be wider. These are kind of more like tarot cards. Oracle cards tend to be a bit wider. But until then, I figured I could show you this, and what I want to do is just go through it one card at a time, explain a little bit about it, just give some of its keywords. There are 40 cards, so it shouldn't take terribly long. So yeah, let's have a look. Okay, so here is the deck. Now this is based, of course, on water in all its different forms and states, and also on spirits and goddesses of water. So let's dive in. First we have Abyss. Oh, ignore that scratch right there. I'm not sure how that even got there. Now this is one of my favorite cards. I think this is just so powerful and evocative. Now the keywords for Abyss are darkness, mystery, fear, the unknown, and the unconscious mind. Next is a Targetus, and I recently did a video all about a Targetus that is linked in the description below. The keywords here are origins, universal mother, love, new beginnings, rebirth, and transformation. And this is Bath, which is about self-care, cleansing, relaxation, purification, privacy, and communion. Next, we have Beach. The keywords are transition, liminal space, balance, boundaries, health, rejuvenation, and exploration. Now, this one can easily be mistaken for rainbow, but this is in fact clouds. And it is about high vibrations, the peak of a cycle, ascension, perspective, and impermanence. Now this one may not be terribly obvious. You may not be able to make out the details, but this is Dew. So we've got some dewdrops in her hair, sort of some visible in the webs and flowers, not as much. But for Dew, we have got clarity, refreshment, renewal, newness, and fleeting opportunities. Now there's actually also a card, it comes right before this one alphabetically. It's Cosmic Waters. I'm not crazy about the art that we currently have for that one. That's one that has different art that's going to be in the official deck. That artwork is actually right here. This is the official art for Cosmic Waters. All right, moving on. Here's another favorite. This one is Geyser, which is about force, powerful emotions, eruption, anger, release, pressure, and surprise. And then we have Groundwater, which is about hidden support, foundation, depth, resources, nourishment, and reliability. And here we have Hurricane. This is meant to look like a Taino woman, as we actually get the word hurricane from the Taino language. The keywords here are power, change, upheaval, destruction, disaster, and cleansing. Now this is the first one that we designed. Here's yet another favorite. This is ice. The keywords are stillness, rest, preservation, introspection, suspension, and dormancy. Now this is Ilmatar. This is a rather obscure goddess. She is from Finnish mythology, which I really love, which actually inspired J.R.R. Tolkien quite a bit, especially for the Elvish lore and history. And she is written about in the Kalevala, the national epic poem of Finland. She is the goddess of the ether, who descends into the ocean and labors for 700 years until she gives birth to the wizard Wainamoinen. And her keywords are creation, maternity, labor, patience, ether, solitude, and resilience. The Lady of the Lake. She is about enchantment, mystery, guardians, femininity, intuition, and destiny. And now we have simply lake. First we had the Lady of the Lake, which is a bit more specific, and now we've got lake, which is about serenity, peace, meditation, introspection, and retreat. Now this is Liban. She is a rather kind of an obscure figure. You've probably not heard of her. She is from Irish lore. Just a little bit more background about her. She was basically a granddaughter of the goddess Danu. She was one of the Tuatha De Danann, or at least her father, the king, was. They settled in an area, and a servant left the cap off of a well, which flooded, but overflowed and then flooded the area, created Loch Ness, killed everyone except for Liban and her dog, and they spent a year and a day inside a cave in the lake, and then finally she called out to the goddess wanting to be like the free-roaming salmon, and she was transformed into a mermaid and her dog into an otter. Her keywords are identity, birthright, reclamation, patience, survival, and endurance. Now, the reason for things like identity, birthright, and reclamation are because, interestingly enough, in the stories, she was actually captured by a Catholic priest who baptized her, and she was later sainted as Saint Muirgen. So she essentially lost who she really was. Her baptism resulted in her gaining a soul and human mortality. So she could only die rather than live as an immortal fae, as was her birthright. Now this is Lorelei. She is a figure from German lore. She is a malevolent water spirit of the Rhine River, said to have been a young woman who drowned and now lures sailors to their deaths. Named after the towering slate rock there, whose name translates to murmuring rock as it emits a haunting echo said to be her song. Her keywords are temptation, danger, seduction, illusion, and deception. This is Maelstrom. I love this card too. It's another just very powerful one. Its keywords are turbulence, vortex, force, spiraling, as in spiraling out of control, emotional overwhelm, and depression. This is Melusine, another one of the mermaid goddesses from Western European folklore. Her keywords are autonomy, sexuality and fertility, motherhood, sacrifice, vows, and truth. This is Mist. It is about mystery, obscurity, concealment, uncertainty, transition, and tricksters. And next we have Oasis. She is about refuge, sanctuary, safety, rest, and rejuvenation. This is Ocean, which is about wholeness, vastness, interconnection, source, the great mother, and the primordial. And this is Pearl, The keywords are wisdom, wealth, self-worth, beauty, femininity, and spiritual growth. Kind of hard to see, but she's got all her lovely pearls on. Next we have Puddle, which is about humility, mundane magic, simple joys, playfulness, transience, or blockage. Blockage because puddles form because the ground can't absorb any more water and something is blocked. Another favorite, this is Rain, represented by essentially, kind of, took some artistic license, but this is meant to be a Zuni woman. They would wear feathers and blue while doing rain dances. The keywords here are abundance, nourishment, harmony, joy, release, and catharsis. And here is Rainbow, which looks a lot more like rainbow than the clouds card, which still would kind of make you think of a rainbow. The keywords here are hope, joy, renewal, and connection to the divine. And this is Reflection, which is about self-awareness, introspection, meditation, duality, and inner wisdom. And Replenish. Keywords here are hydration, nourishment, health, renewal, and purification. This is Ripples, about expansion, cause and effect, influence, and consequence. Now this one is River, inspired by a very particular river. Can you guess which one? The keywords here are flow, movement, change, direction, travel, and surrender. And this is Sedna, another mermaid goddess. Her keywords, she is from Inuit mythology. Her keywords are independence, courage, balance, sacrifice, and self-care. This is another card that has different artwork that's going to be in the final deck. It actually looks like this. I'm really in love with the final design for this card. I love it. This is Selkie. The Selkies are the seal women of Scottish lore. They could take off their skins and become humans, and their husbands, if they had a husband, if they married a mortal man, he would take her skin and hide it, because if she could get her skin and put it back on, she could transform back into a seal and return to the ocean. Now, her keywords are duality, identity, transformation, secrets, adaptability, longing, and homecoming. And this is Spring, which is about renewal, source, clarity, emergence, abundance, and healing. And here is Swamp. The keywords are challenges, hidden danger, the unseen, and unconventional beauty. This one is Tears. Now, you can't really tell in this one because we did kind of work on this one more a bit later too, and we made it much more obvious that she's crying. We put much more visible tears on her face, but I think this still captures the overall feeling of tears very well. It is about release, catharsis, similar to Rain, cleansing, vulnerability, empathy, and strong emotions. Now this is Tiamat. I love this lady. She is a very awesome goddess from ancient Babylonian and Sumerian mythology. She is the ocean itself. She is the mother of the gods, and she is the creative chaos itself. Her keywords are chaos, creation, destruction, transformation, power, and again, like the ocean card, primordial. Obviously, those two cards are very similar. Ocean is ocean, but then Tiamat brings some additional energies to all the same meanings and symbolism of the ocean card. And there's obviously a lot more information about all these cards in the official guidebook. Whoops. This is Tide. Its keywords are flux, adaptation, rhythm, patience, cycles, and time. And next we have Tsunami. About overwhelm, transformation, upheaval, intense change, and disaster. Now you may notice a lot of these cards include, among others, meanings of transformation, but that's kind of one of water's games. It's what it does. It is very transformative. And so one of the things with this deck is that yes, there are overlapping meanings because these are all different, but at the end of the day, they're all still water. So they're going to have overlapping meanings, and the idea, of course, is that when multiple cards appear in a spread that have at least some overlapping meanings, those are probably the meanings that are going to apply more, and those meanings and symbols are enhanced. Much like if you had a tarot reading that had a lot of one suit or a lot of court cards. Yeah. Oops. All right. This is Uktena. This is not a well-known figure, but a very interesting one. In Native American folklore, this is the horned serpent, who is known among the Cherokee, the Ojibwe, the Chickasaw, Choctaw, Alabama, and Cree tribes, among others. She was a very powerful watery figure, a symbol of hidden knowledge. Her keywords are protection, healing, mystery, hidden knowledge, of course, and again, transformation. This joyful, energetic card is Waterfall. It is about flux, rejuvenation, integration, grounding, and force. The poet Samuel Taylor Coleridge once described waterfalls as the continual change of matter, the perpetual sameness of the form. Essentially, so in that sense, we are just like waterfalls. There are so many parts of us that are constantly changing, from our shedding and regrowing hair right down to our regenerating cells. We too are continual changes of matter, yet with the sameness of form. And last but not least, we have the beautiful Yamaya, or Yamoya. She is an Orisha of West African tradition, also honored in Afro-Cuban traditions. She is considered the mother of all the Orishas. Her keywords are motherhood, fertility, protection, healing, nurturing, and ancestral connection. So, unlike a few other cards here, so while the same meanings and symbols of the river and ocean cards apply, she brings again some additional energy and kind of some more specific things to it, just like Tiamat does to the ocean card. So, that is the Mystic Waters Oracle of the Divine Feminine. I hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know in the comments what you think. If there's enough interest in this deck, I will make videos of readings in which I demonstrate spreads from the guidebook that I wrote for the deck. And hopefully those will be interesting to you too. Thank you so much for watching. See you guys next time.